Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'm Lee, and in this video we'll be taking a look at the main villain from Cursed City, Radukar the Wolf. Here he is, this is Radukar the Wolf, and in this video we'll be taking a look at this main villain from Cursed City, taking a close look at the model, and then also going through his hostile reference card, taking a look at his weapon actions, special rules and behaviour table. But before we do that, let's find out a little bit of the background behind this tyrannical master of Ulfenkarn. Radukar is the tyrannical master of Ulfenkarn, a vampire of ancient power and cunning whose ambition is matched only by his savage cruelty. Even in life, the wolf was a feared warlord, razing cities by the score as his armies rampaged along the coasts of Asir and Necros. The sight of his great Carrack, the Impaler's gift, and its black sails upon the horizon were enough to send his enemies fleeing into the wilds of Shias in terror. When Radukar's mortal frame began to fail him and threaten his relentless conquests, the warlord actively sought out a tribe of nomadic, bestial soul-blight vampires known as the Vikos, accepting their challenges and demands of tribute. With his bare hands he slew the twin-headed wolf Vilnas, guardian of the tome of Morkan, and claimed for himself the barrow blade of that legendary vampire emperor, a pitted sabre that inflicts mortal terror upon those that it strikes. As recognition of his deeds, Radukar was granted the blood kiss by the Vikos elders and cursed forever as a creature of the night. The feral nature of the tribe's curse granted him terrifying strength and eternal life, but also inflicted upon him an animalistic blood rage that requires constant, iron-willed resolve to control. Radukar used his newfound power to escalate his atrocities and to bind to his service the Kasagi ogre horde, for mere humans would no longer serve as fitting soldiers for the wolf. The mysterious elder sires and blood sages of the Vikos saw the towering vampire as a weapon they might use to fulfill their own ambitions, and their sage council guided Radukar to many great victories and acts of atrocity. Indeed, it was at their urging that the wolf ultimately came to the cold and stark underworld of Sarsgarond and to the city that would become his lair, a city that would become a fountainhead of necromantic magic when the nightmare of the Shias necroquake broke across the realms. It's easy to look upon the imposing Radukar, wrapped in his ice-white pelt and bulging with barely contained strength, and judge him a simple-minded brute. To do so would be to fatally underestimate the vampire's keen mind. The wolf has grand plans indeed. He wishes not just to rule over Ulfenkarn, but to see it sacrificed to the Nadir in order to swell his own power. Yet first he must destroy every last ember of hope that remains in the city, giving rise to such an aura of misery and despair that the fraying cords of faith, still rooting the Isle of Sarsgarond to the realm of death, are finally torn asunder. To ensure that no agents of the God King or the Dark Pantheon can threaten his schemes, Radukar has utilised the necromantic expertise of his Chamberlain, the sage Torgilius, to create gravesand phylacteries filled with pure realm stone. These safeguard the vampire's cursed spirit against death, ensuring that even should a stake or bolt of magic pierce Radukar's black heart, another soul will be consumed in his stead. The wolf has also granted these fell devices to his most trusted lieutenants so that they may continue to serve his will. That's a great introduction to this main villain, and now let's take a look at the model, and here it is all assembled, and just like all the miniatures I've glued them together, even though it says you just push fit them. I think it's better to glue them, especially because we want to paint them up really nice. But this one went together pretty good. It's one of the better ones in the set, I would say. There's quite a few where you've got some gaps and the joins don't go together that great. That's not so brilliant there, but I think we get away with it just by the nature of the fur and the kind of how it's draping over his shoulder and his arm. But other than that, I think this one was pretty good. So I was really happy how he went together. And yeah, so this was definitely one of the easiest ones to assemble. Already up on the channel you can see Octron Glimscry and Brutok Corpse Eater for the heroes, where we did a deep dive looking at their unique abilities, weapon actions, and a background for each of them. And you can see now that we're going through the first villain, Radukar the Wolf, that the cards are very different. So here's the card for Octron Glimscry. This is the character card, and the layout and everything is very different to these hostile reference cards. And so we'll go through this and break down each section and then look at the specific rules, weapon actions, and the behaviour table for Radukar the Wolf. And once we've done Radukar, I'll also be working through all the other main hostile reference cards, and there are 11 altogether, so I'll do a video for each one just so we can get a real close look at exactly what we're facing in the Cursed City. Just like with our character cards for our heroes, the hostile reference cards have two sides, and this side here with the little icon at the top is for any time we're playing within the daytime spaces on the Sky Vessel board. And right at the top of the card we've got the villain or the hostile's name, and we've got the image, and then this is the miniature that will represent them, so those two will match. Then we've got their move value, the wounds, and the size, and Radukar the Wolf's obviously going to be large. And then we've got their weapon action, which is in this case the Vikros Barrow Blade, and that comes with a footnote here that says if a hero suffers damage from this weapon, they are cursed and stunned. And this weapon is a melee, and the dice we're going to use for this weapon are two different dice. We're going to use the D12 and the D8, and that's these ones here. So we've got the D12 and the D8, and just like with the heroes with the three dice, you know, the probability of getting a success and a critical success are greater with the D12, getting less as we move down from a D8 to a D6. Then we've got the damage that he'll deal, and on a success it'll be 3, and on a critical success it'll be 4. And then as we work down the card, we'll see that we've got some special rules, and the first one is supernatural strength, and each time this hostile activates, make 2 behaviour rolls to determine what actions it makes. Fully resolve one behaviour roll result before making the other behaviour roll. So we're seeing that Radukar's going to be a pretty tough customer with that supernatural strength, but he's also got 2 more, and the next one is unsurpassable might, and when this hostile suffers damage, reduce the damage suffered by 1 to a minimum of 0. And then finally we've got inveterate conqueror. This hostile's hostile group cannot be driven off while this hostile is on the battlefield. And then the final section of the hostile reference card is the behaviour table, and at the start of the turn the villain will roll a quest dice. This is a D12, and whatever the result of that dice is, we look at the roll. So if it's a 1 to 2, the result would be Dark Majesty, and that would mean we remove all wound counters or 1 grievous wound counter from next to this hostile, and remove all ailments from this hostile. Then this hostile makes an advance action. So the wording on some of these rules for sure, and also some of the cards, is a bit suspect. I don't like how this sounds. Remove all wound counters or 1 grievous wound counter from next to this hostile. It sounds a bit weird, but I think once we go through the rules and we see it played out, then that'll make a lot more sense for sure. We'll also cover what this advance action and charge actions mean, and we'll do that in lots of detail with the rules videos. But the next roll is a 3 to 4, and the result of that is a charge. And on a 5 to 9, it's brutal assault, and this hostile will make a charge action but makes 2 weapon actions instead of 1. And then finally on a 10 to 12, we've got call to the hunt. Add 1 available Vikros Bloodborne to this hostile's hostile group and deploy it as reinforcements. Then this hostile at each Vikros Bloodborne on the battlefield makes a charge action. So that's the first side of this hostile reference card, but as we turn things over, this is when things get a lot more scary, and the villains, and Radukar the Wolf especially, get a lot tougher to compete against. And here at the top we'll see the icon has changed, and also we've got this empowered written underneath the name, and also a change in colour. And this symbol indicates that we're now into the nighttime spaces, and this is when you turn the card and follow all the rules written on this side of the hostile reference card. And so we've got some changes now for Radukar. His movement's increased, his dice now have gone to 2 D12 instead of a D12 and a D8. He's also putting out more damage. His unsurpassable might has also improved, and so he's got all these now advantages that have been given to him as the night has fallen, and those vampiric powers are really coming into full force. So that sums up the hostile reference card for Radukar the Wolf, and I've done videos for all the villains and heroes, going through all their cards, their special rules, behaviour tables and weapon actions, and so look out for those on the channel. I'll also be painting all the miniatures and producing a series where I go through all the rules for the game, breaking it down into short videos that are easy to work through. It'd be great to hear what you think about Radukar the Wolf and how you think these cards play in the game. So join in the comments below and let me know who is your favourite villain, who your favourite hero is. It'd be great to hear your thoughts and feedback. I hope you were able to get a copy of the Cursed City game, and if not, hopefully it'll be restocked really soon. And I'll put a link in the description below to Element Games where you can pick it up at a great discount, and you can save up to 20% there on all your game products. And for every sale made through those links, I get a small commission that's going to help me develop the channel, and I really appreciate the support, so thanks so much. If you like this kind of content and would like to support the channel, then please check out my Patreon page, and thanks to everyone who's joined so far. It's really awesome. We hang out on Discord, talk about the hobby, share ideas and help each other out, and you'll get some perks there that you're not going to find anywhere else. So I'll put a link in the description, and it'll be great to see you there. I hope you enjoyed the video and this gave you a good insight into what these hostile reference cards are all about, and especially a great introduction to Radukar the Wolf and what he's all about. So thanks so much for watching. Please like if you like it, subscribe for more videos like this, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to join me next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games.